What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Bobby and I flew into Denver, Colorado this morning. Bobby thinks we're here just on vacation, but I actually bought a car out here. Fun. How's your day going?
Good. I'm starting. You're my first passenger.
We came to Denver to buy a car. Car was shitty.
Piece of shit.
The car had some very unexpected damage that I did not like. So we bought just one-way tickets from Spokane to Denver. We were gonna drive this car back home. But now that we don't have return flights, a return flight from Spokane, or from Denver to Spokane, is roughly the same cost as a return flight from Denver to Vegas to Spokane. And Bobby wants to go to Vegas.
Because I'm trying to like manifest us living there in a year or two. And it's my favorite place on the earth. Well, not on the earth, but you know, I really like Vegas. And one more thing, I really like the sunshine.
So we're gonna go explore Denver right now. Our plane leaves tonight at like 11 p.m. and it's in the morning right now. So we're gonna go explore Denver for the first time ever. And I'm really trying to buy a car either here or try to buy a car in Vegas because I was so stoked with this car, but it didn't work out.
Poor little horse.
I know, I almost cried.
Don't cry, Huggy.
All right, guys, we made it to Vegas. As you can see behind me, we have our hotel, and we also have Bobby taking a selfie. We were trying to find a really dope car to rent on Turo while we were here, and we couldn't really find anything, so we're headed to the parking garage right now. We got a little scooter type of thing. This is what we ended up getting. It's a Polaris Slingshot. What does she got, 178 horsepower? I think it's up here.
It is.
I think the exhaust is in the front.
It definitely is.
Should we go to Red Rock Canyon and go cruise? This is probably the worst handling vehicle I've ever driven in my life. Let's go for a little rip. We'll get coffee, go for a little rip, and maybe Bobby can drive it.
Nah. Whoa. Ow, my freaking head.
Thank you. That seems cool. What is up, guys? It's a couple days later. We are back home and we're back in the shop and ready to get back to work on all the cars. I didn't film much in Vegas or in Colorado at all. We were just trying to make the best out of like a bad situation. So if you guys want to see any like behind the scenes stuff, I know Bobby has a video that she's editing from the whole little mini vacation that we had. Little update on some stuff going on. So we have a ton of parts that came in for the silver Evo 10. The white Evo 10 is back up on the road. We got a new ABS sensor in. I already installed that. We're good to go there. Blue Evo 8, still no block. It's been 5 weeks now. It's supposed to be 2. It's been 5. Sick. What else? Black Evo 8 sold. FRS is good to go. Yeah. Bobby's car, we are waiting on some upper control arms. BMW, we are waiting on someone to fix an FRM. Try and repair the FRM somehow. We got to get that thing back up on the road. But what I want to focus on and can keep continuing forward with is the silver Evo 10. We don't have much left to do to this thing, I feel like. Trans is fixed, the AYC is fixed, the ABS is fixed, all like the mechanical stuff on this car is fixed. From here, it's all the fun stuff. Exterior, making it look good and making it fast. So today, we are going to be doing a little stage 2, I guess you would call it, like a full bolt-on setup on the Evo 10. So all we're gonna be installing is a test pipe and a boost controller. The car already has an intake on it. It already has a catback. My boy Chag Tuned is gonna be taking care of the tune on this thing. He did the blue Evo 8, and he's gonna be redoing the blue Evo 8 with the big turbo setup, and he did Jared's car as well, and his tunes are amazing, and he's super quick about getting back, which I love. So he's gonna be taking care of the tune on this thing. Yeah, I'm excited. Little update. I miss you guys. I miss uploading. I miss recording. I feel like it's been like a while, but we're back at it. So yeah, like I said, a little full bolt-on action for this car. It's gonna be identical to Rose, so like 350 wheel. Very fun, plenty quick for a nice little daily for a little bit until we decide to sell it. So a Grimspeed 3-port EBCS. I picked this up off of MVP. I'll have a link down below. And then a test pipe as well. I kind of forget what brand this is. I know it was a bit cheaper. It's very reasonably priced. And I will have this guy linked down below as well. Let's open it up real quick. That's what the test pipe looks like. Very simple. All this does is replace the factory cat on the car and allow for a little bit more boosties. So let's get this thing up in the air. First thing I want to install is this test pipe, and then we can get it back down, take out the factory boost controller, get on that Grimspeed 3-port. We already have a base map from Chag in our inbox, in our email. Get that thing loaded up, do a quick install with the AEM AFR gauge or the wideband, go data log this thing, send them over the logs, go back and forth for a little bit. We'll be all finished up. If you guys want to use Chag, I'll have Chag Tuned linked down below as well. So this test pipe right here is going to replace that giant cat. Like I said, it's gonna allow us to get a little more power out of this thing, and it's gonna make it quite a bit louder as well. So all we have is that rear O2 sensor right there, 2 bolts up front, 2 bolts in the back, and then 1 mount over here, and this factory cat will come off. The factory cat is off, and was super pumped to get this test pipe on, but both of these gaskets, front and rear, are destroyed. So I'm gonna run to Napa. I have a million gaskets here, but none of these 3-inch 2-bolt gaskets. So I'm gonna pop in the Duramax, run to Napa, and see if we can't find some new gaskets.
Where they want to go or accomplish what it is they set out to accomplish by going half-ass, by going half-throttle.
What's up, Dave? Got any gaskets you can tell me? Appreciate it, Dave. My boy Dave has some gaskets. Look at that. Big shout outs to Dave's muffler. Always coming in clutch. All right, we are ready to go ahead and install the test pipe. So as you can see, there's two bungs on the test pipe. That one right there is going to be for the rear O2 sensor. And this one up here is going to be if you want to install a wideband on the car, which you definitely need to do if you're going to tune. If you're doing any sort of tuning, you need a wideband to monitor the AFRs, the air-fuel ratio. The reason you want the AFR up here instead of on the side is because you need it at some sort of a downward angle, or else water and condensation can get trapped inside the sensor. We actually had that problem on this car. We kept burning up AFR sensors on it, and it's because we had the wideband horizontal. If you have it pointed down, you're good. You don't got to worry about that. Let's go ahead and get this guy installed, make sure she fits properly, and then we can lower this thing down and get the Grimspeed 3-port installed. All right guys, we got the test pipe on along with the sensor for the AFR or the wideband. So all we have to do is just route that inside now. Let's go ahead and lower the car down. We can get the AFR all wired up completely inside, and then we can get the boost controller on as well. And we can move on to getting this thing tuned. I guess while the car is up in the air, we gotta pull these wheels off. I did end up selling the wheels. Like I mentioned earlier, these are not gonna be the wheels that we run on this car forever. I was just gonna run them until someone bought them and they're sold, so we gotta pull these things off. I did go ahead and mount a set of new tires on the factory wheels. We already had these tires laying around, so I figured I'd throw them on here to run those in the meantime while we wait for the new wheels to show up. So one last good look at the TEs. You guys will never see these things again. The boost controller is very simple to do. So there are two solenoids you guys see back there. The top one is the one that we're gonna be replacing. The bottom one, we're just gonna unplug it and leave it unplugged, and we'll be good there. So let's pull off all of these lines that run down to the wastegate, the compressor housing, and the intake tube. Disconnect these wiring plugins. One on the intake, pull that off. And then there's this T. One hose runs right here. And then there's one way down here that runs the wastegate. It's kind of hard to get off. And then to pull off the wastegate solenoid, there is a 10 mil nut on the backside back there. Take that nut off and the solenoid will come off. So this is the factory 2-port solenoid. Here is the Grimspeed 3-port. This thing's very easy to set up. We're gonna bolt it to that factory location. The wiring plug-in plugs right into the factory harness. And then we have 3 ports. Port 1 is gonna run back to the intake. Port 2 goes to the wastegate, and port 3 will go to the compressor housing, or in this case, right back to that nipple right there. Being that we don't need that factory solenoid at all whatsoever, I'm just gonna completely unbolt the whole thing, take off both solenoids. We don't need either of them, so might as well clean it up a little bit and just take all that off. The 3-port is on. All we have to do is plumb it, get those hoses routed where they need to be, and we can move on to tuning. All right, that's all finished up. Let's head inside and button up the AFR gauge install. We can get our first startup, go for our first drive. All right, we got our gauge working. Let's fire it up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It is way louder now. That sounds good. Before I thought it was like super quiet, and now it makes sense because it had a cat on it the whole time. That sounds really good. Cool deal. Test pipe install is good. Gauge install is good. Boost controller should be all good. We won't really know until we start going and driving it and tuning it. Make sure it's actually controlling the boost properly. But from here, all we have to do is go on our email, grab that base map from Chagtune, load it up on the car, and go back and forth with him and get this thing 100% dialed in. This car's gonna be so fun. I always say when I drive Jared's car that I miss having like a somewhat stock-ish Evo. They're so fun to drive, just kind of stock. I love the 700 horse Evo 10, but sometimes 700 wheel on the street is just a lot to handle. So apparently my Wi-Fi or my iPhone hotspot does not feel like working today. So we need to go cruise. Ooh, way better. We need to go cruise, find the nearest location with Wi-Fi that we can steal to download the new map for this thing and get it loaded up on the car. You don't want to drive really at all with a test pipe without a tune, but in this circumstance, we kind of have to. We'll be all right. The only mods you ever want to do, at least in my opinion, on an Evo, or really any car, is just the catback if you don't want to tune. As soon as you go like a test pipe or an intake or any of that kind of stuff, especially fuel system related, you have to get it tuned. Okay, we got the base map right here. Ignition is on the car. All lights are on. We're gonna go ahead and reflash this thing. This is just the base map. Ain't gonna build much boost. Uh-oh. We have an error. Oh, I'm still on WRX. Change that over, select, try it again. So I'm sitting here in Starbucks parking lot trying to reflash the car. The car will not reflash, and I know you're not supposed to turn the ignition off, but I had no other option. So I turned the ignition off, turn it back on, it's stuck in reflash mode. Obviously the car won't start. I cannot reflash the car won't start. I'm stuck here, sick. I don't know what happened. You busy?
No.
I need to go to the shop, get my truck, get a tow strap, come pick up my pile of shit Evo at Starbucks. I'll send you my location.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, bye. Well, this is really, really shitty. I cannot get a hold of Chag right now. It's kind of late over on the East Coast where he's from, but it doesn't really matter. Regardless, I know this ECU is bricked. I have no clue what went wrong. I know the laptop was originally set on Subaru. I don't know why that would break the ECU though. So something else happened. I was originally gonna have Bobby go get the truck, come here, try to tow this thing back to the shop. It's a little bit sketchy. So I'm just gonna leave this pile of shit Evo here, pull the ECU out here, go back to the shop, bench flash the ECU, and then we can bring the ECU back to the car tomorrow sometime and hopefully get this thing back on the road. All right guys, well Chag just got back to me. He has one thing I'm gonna try real quick using like an alternate flash mode. And if that doesn't work, we're just gonna have to leave this car here overnight. All right, that did not work. So, shit, is all I gotta say. This is no fun.
So what's up with it?
Pile of shit. We made it back to the shop, got some tools that we need. We're gonna head back to the car right now, pull out the ECU, come back to the shop, do a bench flash on the ECU, hopefully get her up and running again. I really, really, really do not want to leave that car there overnight. Yeah, just a little bit sketchy area. So hopefully we can get the thing back to the shop tonight. And I don't want to tow it either because, I don't know, I just don't like to tow.
Everything's so different now. You're just what I'm missing now. But I know.
All right, let's see if we can't bench flash this thing. So I have a little harness here. So basically what you gotta do is you take the ECU, and I'll have a full write-up or a link to a write-up down below, but you take the ECU, you take your Tactrix cable, you run a few pins or wires from a few pins on the ECU up to the Tactrix, plug the Tactrix into the laptop, and flash it on the bench. You do need to connect it to a power source. I've done this one time before and I'm pretty sure I used just a regular car battery when I was doing this. So I got this one fully charged up. It's like at 12.8 volts right now, so we should be good there. But yeah, let's give this a shot, see if we can't get this thing bench flashed and get it back on the car, and hopefully get this thing back home, back in the shop tonight. So I know this looks like a mess, and it kind of is, but we got everything hooked up. All the wires or the pins from the Tactrix down to the ECU, and then everything connected to the battery as well. So let's go ahead and connect it to the computer, see if we can't get this thing flashed out. If we can't flash it, I don't know what we're gonna do. All right, it looks like we should be good. I'm doing the first series of rewriting right now, and then we're gonna actually write the new map onto the ECU, or the new tune onto the ECU, and then we should be able to head back to the car and get this thing installed. Definitely was not planning or expecting to do this all day, but it is what it is, and I don't really know what happened. Oh well, I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out. So this here is the actual tune itself. If this thing goes onto the ECU, we'll be good to go. And it looks like it's going to. Beautiful. Come on, baby. Go through. Yes, we are good to go. ECU's 100% ready to go, back in action. Let's head back to the car and get this thing running. Let's see what happens, guys. I have a pretty good feeling that she's gonna start. Look at that. I don't dare try and reflash the Evo without being at the shop and having it connected to like a battery tender or battery charger. Pretty sure that was the problem. I'll check the voltage when we get back to the shop, but we're headed there now. Let's hook it up to the battery charger. Actually, as of right now, we do have the new base map on, so we could be data logging right now, but I want to get to the bottom of why that happened. I'm pretty sure it's because of low voltage. All right, let's do a little voltage test on this thing and see where she's sitting at. We're at 12.7 volts, so I don't think that was it. I'm gonna go ahead and try and reflash the car now that it's in the shop. It would literally take like 5 minutes to bench flash the ECU if we do brick it again. I just want to make sure, like, next time we're out and about and we have to reflash this car, we're not gonna have problems. And I do want to clarify something. This has nothing to do with the tune. It was a timeout error, so it either has something to do with the battery voltage being too low, something wiring going on in the car. Being that we were able to bench flash the ECU, I know it's nothing in the map or the tune itself. It's something on the car that was faulty. So yeah, let's give it a shot real quick and see what happens. It is flashing just fine now. So I don't really know. Must have been like a fluke, some sort of fluke thing, or maybe I bumped the cable and popped the cable out when it was flashing. Either way, nice to know that there's no problems with the car itself. I thought maybe like the OBD2 connector wiring was a little janky or something, but no, we're good. The new flash is loaded onto the car. Sick. I feel like that was a very random day, or random video overall, honestly, with all the stuff that happened, but I'm glad the car's back on the road. It wasn't anything major. If you guys ever have to bench flash your ECU, I'll have that little write-up on how I did it linked down in the description box below. And then everything else we did to the car, the test pipe, the boost controller, the tuner, all that stuff I'll have linked down in the description box below. The only thing we were able to do tuning wise tonight was just data log that base map on wastegate pressure, and that's it. So the car's not making any sort of power right now. Hopefully tomorrow we should be able to make some sauce out of this thing, and then we can move on to like body work and whatnot. Real quick before we head out for the night, we got a few packages in the PO box. First one is from Grant Lenting. This is sick. This is a little funnel, but inside, it's not just a regular funnel, you feel. Inside, we have the Vossen logo. And on the outside. Thank you, Grant, I appreciate that. And then we have a package from Brian Wilson that says it's fragile. Let's go pop this guy open. Aw. Ouch. This is really sick, but it got destroyed. Damn. So Brian sent over a drawing, and then it's actually really sick too. It's really good. Vossen logo, truck, Evos, M3, pretty much all the builds in this nice glass frame. But the glass and frame both got destroyed. But the drawing's still good, so we can We can get it fixed up and hang it up in the office at home. Oh man, that sucks. Brian, I appreciate you sending this out. Let me try to pull this thing out without getting glass everywhere. Man, stuff like this that you guys make means the world. Like you can just tell how much time Brian put into this drawing right here. It's sick. Thank you, Brian. And thank you, Grant, for the packages. I really, really appreciate it. If you guys ever want to send anything, the PO box is at the bottom of the description box. Let's go ahead and wrap up today right here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out. I'll see you guys tomorrow.